Welcome back to the Upper Echelon Podcast, where we keep it real and we keep it jiggy over here. Because why? Because we ain't never ever scared. Please hit the like button on your way in. Also, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of any new content that I may put out or the next time that I live stream. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so that you can come back and visit me the next time I go live or the next time I do a pre recording. Um, I offer a membership for $1.99. I made it as affordable as I possibly could, so that most of my subscribers are able to go ahead and grab a membership, because I do offer videos in my membership that are not available to those who are not members. First thing I want to say is I hope you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday. Even if you did not share your Valentine's Day with a significant other, or maybe you weren't able to share your Valentine's Day with your children, or whatever the case may be, just remember that God is love. So no matter if you have a person with you physically, you always have God. God is love. God is love. Let's get into love. Let's get into love. Now that we're talking about it, let me share my screen with you guys really quickly. And again, I want to remind you guys that this is a pre-recording. It's not a live video. So obviously, if I'm not responding to comments, it's because it's a pre-recording. Let me share something with you all really quick. Now, y'all know I'm not a super religious type person. I can admit that about myself. However, just observing certain things within this Latruth saga, the way that these relationships between these two people, the relationships that they have found after their separation, the direction that those relationships are going, and how these people are carrying themselves in their relationship really does speak volumes, and it says a lot about who they are as people and their maturity level. I want to share this real quick because I thought this was awesome. Look at this, you guys. You can't tell me that this is not a good looking couple or good looking friends. Wink, wink. Beautiful couple. This is Robert Hampton and Miss Season on Valentine's Day. I wish I could make my screen a little bit larger for you guys, but I don't think that I can. Can I? Yes, I can. Good looking couple. Let me just say, Miss Season is a very beautiful woman. Very classy, very well spoken, and she comes off as a very mature lady. And I think that she fits Robert very well. I know the age is nothing but a number, but it seems like they are more on the same wavelength than he was with Brianna, in my opinion. He comes off as a very well-rounded, mature, emotionally intelligent person, very rational person. And you can't say you know somebody based off of what you see on the internet. However, the behavior that Robert has displayed throughout this whole saga and throughout all of this drama, there's been so many times where he could have flew off the handle. There's been so many times where he could have completely degraded his ex-wife, even though they're not legally separated, just divorced just yet. There's been so many times that he could have done the absolute most, and he decided on many occasions to take the high road. Not only has this guy had his ex-wife disparaging his name and spreading false narratives and lying on him and basically trying to destroy his character, but he's had so many different content creators who have been working with his ex-wife and working endless hours trying to destroy this man. And I think that it's a wonderful thing that in the midst of all of that, he still was able to find this woman here. And it seems like they just have chemistry. You can just feel it through the phone. You can feel it through the camera. And I'm so happy for these two. And I feel like there is, I feel like the reason why, and I don't want to say they're together because they're not saying that they're together, even though we're looking at this picture of them kissing. She says, who says you can't kiss a friend? So I'm gonna go with what they saying. I can't say anything more than what they've said, and they have not said that they are together, but you can, I guess, just draw your own conclusion. Um, but what I will say is, I think that the reason why these two have so much chemistry, why it seems, and I'm not in their relationship, I'm not in their bed, I don't know what's going on with them. This, all I know is what's displayed to the public, and oftentimes what you present on the internet may not be 100% what's going on behind closed doors, but these two do appear to be so very happy with each other. Um, and I believe that this situation is playing out the way that it is because of the way that it started. The way that you build a foundation on a relationship is so important. It's so important not to rush. It's so important not to just jump into something really, really quickly for the wrong reasons. And I think that is the reason why a lot of relationships that a lot of people try to call rebound relationships don't work all the time, because you're not going in it for the right reason. You're not going in it for that person. You're going in it for you. You're going in it because you're afraid to be alone, or you're going in it because that person, that you expect them to heal something that was broken in you. So you're putting all of this responsibility on this person to fix the hurt that you are feeling. And that is not the right reason to be in a relationship. We know that after Robert separated from his wife, a lot of people don't really know how long him and Miss Season have been together, but regardless of how long they've been together, one thing that I do notice about these two is that they are not boastful about their relationship. As a matter of fact, they're very private about their situation. They're very discreet, and they're very classy with it. And I love that for them. I love it for them. And if you ask me, these two, if you're the type of person that says relationship goals, I'm not that type of person, but I know some people out there use that terminology. I would say if you are the type of person that looks at people say, oh yeah, that's relationship goals, I would say that would be these two. If, of course, allegedly they are in a relationship. We're going to keep saying if. But that's goals to me, where you take your time, and you love each other, or like each other genuinely, or the chemistry is genuine, and it's not something that you're doing to make someone else mad. I want to say, I want to show you guys this. I'm going to take them down from the screen real quick, and I want to show you guys this again. You guys, I'm not one of those people that is super religious, and I'm not going to pretend to be, because see, the thing is, I'm not one of those folks that sits around and reads scriptures and tries to pretend like everything I do is just a-okay. I can't preach to anybody, if I'm being honest. I can't preach to nobody, so I ain't even gonna go there. But what I will say is, there are certain things in the good book, and that do stick out to me, and I do think that we should apply to our everyday lives. And this is one of them right here. Let me try to make this a little bit larger for you guys. This is one of them. When you find yourself wondering, is this real love? When you find yourself looking at a couple, or two people who seem to be connected, I think that it's so important to look at this. When you say, are they in love? Is it love? Is it possible that it could turn into love? And when you think about real love, this is what I think about. In 1 Corinthians, it says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Now, the reason that I read that is because certain things in that scripture really does stick out to me, especially when it comes to these two couples situation, Brianna and Robert. As we all know, Robert is connected to, we're not going to say in a relationship, but connected to Miss Season. And Brianna is connected to, or not even connected to. She's already, I think that maybe 2 months, maybe not even 2 months out of her marriage, she was already saying she was in a relationship with Janelle. So Brianna is openly in a relationship as a married woman with Janelle. And if you remember in the beginning of their relationship, even though they weren't yet saying that they were in a relationship, in the beginning of that, they were doing just this, where it says it does not boast, it is not proud. We remember Brianna walking down the street in New York City after she lied and said that she was doing the New York Fashion Week. We remember her walking down the sidewalk with her friends, and Jonelle and a couple more people were behind her, and she was saying, "Yeah, mm-hmm, IMBD or whatever you call it, yeah, a real actor," and this and that. And she made sure that she was live so that everyone could see it, because it wasn't genuine admiration. It was more so being done to show her audience that she had moved on. It was being done to show that, hey, look at me, I'm still the winner. Yeah, my husband may have filed for a divorce, but look, I got something better. So it wasn't genuine love. It wasn't genuine attraction. It wasn't genuine. It wasn't a genuine chemistry. It was something that was being done just to show her subscribers, her followers, and her ex-husband that she's fine, she's doing better. And I think that Brianna, that's a personality flaw that she has. Instead of actually sitting in the pain and sitting in how she feels and accepting how she feels, she works not so much on herself, but she works really, really hard. She works overtime to show everyone else that she's doing okay. And that's not genuine. And that's not working on yourself. And that's not dealing with it. That's not healing. That's not self love. And I find it interesting that a person who considers themselves a self-love expert and a self-love guru, she goes as far as to write a book about self-love, as if she's qualified to give some sort of master class on self-love. I find it interesting that she goes so far out of her way to not spend the time in her own feelings and her own emotions, but to prove things to others. Now, self-love is taking care of yourself, and it's not just going to the nail shop. It's not just getting your hair done. It's not just buying yourself 2 dozen roses. It's not making breakfast for yourself. See, those are superficial things. And a lot of people who don't really know what self-love is will say, well, she's taking care of herself. She loves herself, and she's practicing self-love because she bought herself flowers, or because she took herself on a date, or because she takes care of her hair. That's not self-love. That's maintenance. Self-love is sitting in your own emotions, feeling your own emotions, blocking out all of the outside noise, and really sitting in your pain. Because as bad as it feels to sit in your pain sometimes, most of the time it's needed. And most of the time it feels good. And I'll equate it to crying. Everybody knows that not crying out of physical pain, but crying out of emotional distress or emotional pain. Crying feels good. And I know that sounds weird, and a lot of people don't look at it that way, but if you think about it, crying feels good. Being able to cry it out and sit and cry it out feels good, and get those emotions out. It feels good. It's a pain reliever. So if you don't even take the moment to sit down and just even admit you are spending so much time, Miss Hampton, trying to convince everyone else that you're happy, that you haven't even had time to admit that you are miserable. And if you can't admit a problem, then there's no way to fix it. And that's a fact. So the issue is she has all of these people around her championing her bullshit. And she has all of these people around her going along with her narrative when they know that the narrative is bullshit. Going along with somebody's narrative or somebody's story that they're telling themselves is not helping them. And that's what she's been doing. The connection that she's had with Jonelle is not love. Jonelle is simply a pawn that she's been using to prove something to her subscribers and her followers and her ex-husband and her family. Jonelle is being used as a placeholder. And I believe that Jonelle knows that he's being used as a placeholder. It was never genuine from the beginning, and that's why she was alone on Valentine's Day. Let's just keep it a buck. You can try to spin it off and try to make it seem like, oh, self-love is the best love, and I'm going to do this for myself, and I'm going to do this for me on Valentine's Day. And that's wonderful. If you don't have somebody on Valentine's Day and you say, I'm not going to sit around and be sad because I don't have somebody on Valentine's Day. I'm going to go out. I'm going to take myself out to eat. I'm going to go do things that I like. I'm going to get my hair and my nails done. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to maybe spend some time with some other single friends. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with being single. But see, the issue lies in this whole show that they've been putting on for all of this time, as if they're so in love and their relationship is so karmic, and it's all of the twin flames and all of this BS, when in reality that is not what it is at all. That's not what it is at all. Because see, look, if you have a partner, I don't care how far away in the world your partner is, listen, you're going to have to make it to me on Valentine's Day. If you can't make it to me, because we got people who got spouses in the military that can't make it to you on Valentine's Day, right? But you're going to send me something. You're going to do something for me. You're going to have a car pick me up and take me to go get a massage and get my. If we all know how showy Brianna is, if Jonelle would have done those things for her on Valentine's Day, we would have seen it. So we know that he did not. We know that he did not. And the problem with that relationship, and the reason why they can put on whatever type of show they want, once people start catching on that the relationship is dwindling down, and it seems like he done left her to go on to Hollywood. Once people start catching on to that, what they're going to do, because we've seen them do it in the past, they're going to make a post, or they're going to put a picture out, or she's going to make a video to make it seem like they're together, or just to save herself the embarrassment. So we know that they do that. We know that when content creators and people start saying, what's going on with those two, they go out of their way to try to make it seem like they're still together, or they're still going strong, just to prove a point, right? So, and that's the issue. That's the issue with their relationship. The relationship is not because we're so in love. The relationship is not we have all such strong chemistry. We can't keep our hands off of each other. We can't be away from each other and all of this. It just seems more to prove a point for her. Now, for him, I most definitely think that the relationship, what he's taken from the relationship is basically monetary gain and what he can get. People can say I'm wrong. People can say I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's how it appears. And what I want to say is that a lot of the things that the content creators that have been in support for Robert Hampton have been saying in the past, and the things that we have predicted have been true. I can remember sitting through lives even before I got my own platform, and people saying that, Brianna has put this false claim out on her ex-husband. And what's going to end up happening is she is unfortunately going to run into someone who truly is physically abusing her. So the tongue is a powerful thing. So you can't speak certain things, because what'll happen is they will come to fruition. And they will end up actually, if you guys been following the Latruth saga, you know why that word is funny. But anyway, you have to be careful what you say. You have to be careful what you put out into the world, or what you put out into the universe. The tongue is very powerful. So she spoke all of those things, and they ended up unfortunately happening to her. But before those text messages that Dawn put out ever were even released, the content creators on this side were saying, hey, this is what's going to end up happening to her. If you remember, we saw a clip of when Brianna was at the mall with Jonelle, and she picked up a shoe and he knocked the shoe out of her hand. And we kind of looked at that kind of weird, like, oh, I'm seeing some signs. And then shortly after that, after the friendship came to an end between herself and Dawn, those messages were released that Janelle did spit on, Janelle Young did spit on and choke Brianna Hampton. Unfortunately, even though I don't particularly care for Brianna, I can't say that I'm happy that that happened to her. Yeah, that's not cool. But the thing is that you have to be careful. You do have to be careful what you speak up and what you say, because you put a lie on another man, on your ex-husband, and then another man ended up doing those exact things to you. And we predicted that. And I think that's why we also predicted that John Nail would basically use Brianna dry until he couldn't use her anymore, and then he would leave. And as you can see, he's not there. I want to show you guys something. Now, this is alleged. I don't know this to be true. Let me take this down. But one of the observations that I will say, give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Pre-recording is so weird. It feels like I'm talking to somebody when I have a chat, but this is my first pre-recording, so it kind of feel like I'm talking to myself, or I'm doing a monologue, or like an audio diary or something like that, which is kind of weird, but I guess I can get used to it. I just didn't really have the time to go live today because I wasn't going to be on long. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here it is. Let's see if it'll share for me because my internet is acting weird. This is interesting. Kind of off topic, but I found this to be kind of interesting because this is the Loyalty website. Now, when you look at the website, you don't see much. I actually thought that my computer wasn't done loading. I'm like, where is the website? Where is the website? Now, this is alleged, you guys. I don't know this to be factual. However, this is what I believe. I believe that Brianna monetarily assisted with getting this brand started, Loyalty. If you guys remember, right before Janelle left, leading up to him leaving, he was going hard trying to sell Loyalty, was he not? I mean, he was going hard trying to sell these clothes and trying to sell these products. And I found that to be quite interesting. But what I think is, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be. What I think is that Brianna invested in him to get this brand. And I believe that he owed her for that investment. And I believe that Brianna wanted him to sell the items that she helped with investing in. And he did that. I think all of those jumpsuits that were purchased, I think she bought that. And I think that she invested in his website and invested in those clothes and tried to help him get himself back together. And I think that he went hard to make sure that he sold everything that she helped him to purchase. That's what I believe. If you look at the website, this here is the Forever Young Valentine's Day collection, which is weird because yesterday was Valentine's Day. But if you look, it says no products found. Now, this guy was going hard about this collection. I mean, I remember him even being live and saying that this is a legacy that he wants to leave his children. So I find it kind of weird that he would have an empty site. Okay, then you look at, homepage, no products found. Kids Loyalty set, no products found. Loyalty adult sets, no products found. T-shirts, no products found. Now, the only thing I think that he has on here is this body butter. So he has more of this left, and he also bumped it down and put it on sale. It's one called Love, one called Royalty, and one called Loyalty, and they're all now $44. So yeah, that's all that's on the website is body butter. So it seems to me like he wasn't really serious about this. I think that at first he was because he didn't know what he was going to do. But now that he's trying to get his foot back in the door and doing his acting and stuff like that again, I do believe that this site, we won't be seeing much from this anymore. And I think that this is something that Brianna helped him with. I think that and I think that that's what he was there for. This is how I see Janelle. Janelle is the type of brother that he is going to use you while he needs you. And that's exactly what he did to Brianna. But at the end, and that's my opinion. Of course, I do think that they're going to come out and try to come out with a video or whatever the case is. Just like the other day, she put the tattoo on her face. So they're going to try to do something, or she's going to try to do something, or whatever the case is, to make it seem like there's still some sparks, still something going on there. But I highly doubt it. So what I do want to say is he seems like the type of brother that will use someone while he needs them. And I think at the time, after the Wu-Tang saga, he needed Brianna because he had that space. And that's a lot of actors. He had that space in between projects. It was pretty long space, but he had that space in between projects. And now he's off somewhere doing an acting gig, and she's alone. And as women, we have to remember that don't do so much that for a man. And I would say, tell a man the same thing. Don't do so much for a person that they fall in love with your hand and not your heart. So you can't buy people. It's either there or it's not. You cannot make someone love you. You can't buy their love. You can't do so much for them because you're trying to condition them into thinking that they need you. And I think that's what she does as well. She does a lot. She did a lot for him because she was trying to condition him to feel like she is needed in his life. Okay. But a real man doesn't need you for your money. A real man doesn't need you for help or what you can do for him. A real man needs you because he loves you and he feels like he can't live. He can't breathe without you. That's love. And that's how strong men love for the person that they want to be with. That's as strong as it. I've heard men say that I married her because I felt like I couldn't breathe without her. I felt like I could not, when I left her presence, I couldn't get her off my mind. It was eating me alive. That's how strongly men love when they are in love. And I think Brianna needs a wake-up call. It's so unfortunate that she has these older women around her that are so concerned with doing whatever it is that she tells them to do, that they can't reach out to her and tell her the truth and give her good advice from an elder woman and say, hey, I know that you feel like you want to be with him. I know you may even feel like you need him. You may feel like you're in love with him, but I need you to reconsider because you have children involved in this situation. And every man that comes into your life does not need to meet your children. Every man that comes into your life is not qualified to be in your life. I think she needs an older woman to tell her to be more careful with the connections that she builds and throwing people into her house. But she doesn't have that. And it's unfortunate. It should have been elder, mature, because we got to remember, you can be 51 years old and still behave like a teenager. You can be 49 years old and still have the mindset of an 18-year-old baby. And that's what we've seen here on the internet, right? So if she would have had an elder, even somebody a little bit older, baby, because I'm 36 and I could have told her this. If a man has the ability, no matter how angry he is, to hawk spit in your face, that is not love, my dear. As a matter of fact, that's hatred. As a matter of fact, that's disdain. So you may want to get away from him because if he can do that, there's no telling what he can do. But no, she didn't have that, and she still doesn't have that. She has enablers in her circle. She has people that go along with everything that she does and says, just because they want to remain in her good graces. And at this point, I think that it's sad that women that are really at the age where they could probably begin to start thinking about registering as a senior citizen. It's really a shame that we have women of that age group that are still not mature enough to guide a young lady in the right direction. They're more focused on what people are saying about this girl on the internet instead of talking to her behind closed doors and telling her, look, this ain't the way. This ain't it. I'm going to use the example with Maine So Funny. When the pictures came out of Maine and Brianna, and the song came out and they were doing a music video together, a lot of people on this side was like, what the heck? Now, we all know that this man is a registered SA offender. Now, why in the world would she want to be connected with someone like this? Or why would she want to be hanging out with somebody like this? It's not a good look. It's not cool. But they ignored that, right? And now here recently, the real charges and the real information about Maine So Funny has come out. And I use that as an example because, like I said before, everything that us content creators over here on Team Latruth, and I still call it Team Latruth, even though Team Latruth is a lot smaller than what it started out. A lot of us over here on Team Latruth, um, like I said before, have said a lot of things and we have predicted a lot of things. And that is another one of them. That, yeah, this guy is not somebody that you would want to probably be around. So they can call it bullying. Um, They can call it whatever they want. They can call it harassment, whatever they want to call it. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what it is a group of people who came together to support a man whose character was being disparaged online. A group of people who came together to support and defend a man who had been lied on about domestic violence. And what's even more crazy is as we as we were supporting this man due to him being lied on for DV, he was lied on again. So this young lady is completely out of touch with reality. When a video, not the videos, but when the text messages, after the text messages came out, a photo was released where Brianna sent that photo to someone saying that Jonelle had put a mark on her neck. She immediately came out to do damage control and tried to lie and say that the mark that was on her neck was something that was done. It was an old photo and it was a mark that her ex-husband had put on her neck. And us content creators, once again, figured out that that was a lie, saw that timestamps were changed, saw that she had her hair and her nails in the exact same way that she had them when she was with Jonelle, just lying on that man. And it's not just any man. You're lying on the father of your child. So you would rather put out a false narrative about that girl's dad. See, you may not love him anymore. You may not care about him, but that's her blood. That's her father. And it's so unfair for you to destroy the image that she should have of her father in her mind before she's even old enough to know what's going on. It's so unfair for you to do that. It's so selfish of you to do that, Brianna, because you have a relationship with your daddy. And it seems that you have I'll say, an interesting relationship with your father, and I'll leave it at that. However, you do have a relationship with your dad. And you always say he's the best dad in the world. And he's always around you and your children. He seems to go everywhere that you go. You guys almost seem like best friends. And even though your father has some very horrendous charges against him, that some things that he's done in the past that have been unimaginable, you still see him as your superhero. But in the same token, you want to destroy the image of Robert in that baby's mind. You want to take that away from her because you think that you are hurting him but you're really hurting her. Because no little girl wants to be fatherless. No little girl wants to be the only one that doesn't have a father when the father and daughter dances come up. If a little girl feels like she needs her dad's protection, a girl wants to be able to say, I'll call my daddy. Or don't make me call my dad on you. All little girls crave that. Little girls crave being picked up and hugged by their daddy and going out with their dad. Spending time with their dad. When they get old enough to date, they want to be able to call their dad and ask their father questions. Because there's some things that a woman cannot answer. Even though it's a little girl, it's some things that they need to talk to a man about. And even if you're not with the father of your child, you still don't want to go out of your way to damage the relationship between them. Not even the relationship, but damaging his whole image in that child's mind, to where you have that child believing that that man is a monster. She may want to call him when she becomes a teenager, so she knows, is this the right person? Should I give him a chance? Or daddy, he did this to me. What does this mean? He said this to me. What do you think? And as a man, he will be able to answer those questions. There's so many children, so many young girls who end up teen mothers because they were denied a relationship with their father. There's so many young girls who become mothers at a young age because somebody destroyed the image of their father in their mind. There's so many young girls walking around being used and abused by men and young boys because they can't pick up the phone and call their daddy. So you, Brianna, are a disgrace. And that is what I'm going to end this live with. I know I was kind of all over the place, and that's kind of because I really didn't plan it. I just felt like I had a couple of things on my mind and on my spirit that I wanted to go ahead and get out. I'm going to go ahead and end this recording. Don't forget, if you've been listening to me and you have not liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can come back and visit me. Make sure that you also hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of any time that I do live stream or post any new content. If you want to monetarily support my channel, you can cash at me at $Phoenix 20137. That's $PHOENIX 20137. Or you can grab a membership. Thank you all so much. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day and make it productive. All right, everybody. Peace.